This is where we're looking at the business processes rather than the activity of a specific application, a specific screen, a specific program. We're looking at the collection because the product or the service provided by the organization is the outcome of this set of performed activities. What does that actually mean to us? Well, we're looking at the business process itself and the purpose of the business process, the purpose of our application flow, data flows, process flows through our applications is a reflection of organizing the activities, looking for the dependencies, whether it's a process or a program or a calculation or data that needs to be available before the next step can occur. Where are processes independent enough to introduce parallelism? How can we improve those interrelationships? Can we break our existing activities within these processes differently in order to shorten the overall time it takes? Can we introduce a robotics process automation to eliminate or minimize the time it takes for data conversion from a paper or an electronic copy of a piece of paper into some data format usable by our applications? So the business process management is looking at the components of our applications, of our activities, and applying the context of the process to look for opportunities to improve, to change the way processes are done. Are there inefficiencies in the handoffs? Are there activities that can be done that would improve the perception of customer service? A quick example of that would be the experience that our local hospitality organizations provide. And many of them are extending their service to meeting their guests at the airport and taking care of all of the nitty-gritty details about moving luggage. Now, who wants to spoil your holiday by having to haul around luggage? Once you get it off of the airplane and have claimed it, wouldn't it be nice to hand it over to someone who then sees that it gets into your hotel room before you actually get there, before you get to the hotel room? Wouldn't you like to know that you could leave your luggage in the hotel room and it would be with you when it's time to check it in for your flight home? Wouldn't it be nice to know that you had transportation taken care of from the moment you get off of the airplane or arrive at your local transportation hub? And you don't have to worry about dealing with traffic. You don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about the cost of rental car or the crazy people driving on the roads because they're different than the way you used to drive. Wouldn't it be nice to have all of that taken care of, and you don't have to worry about calling for an Uber? You don't have to worry about any of the transportation. It's available. It's covered. You don't have to worry about the cost of it. Well, these are business process changes that happened and have been implemented in many of our local entertainment providers to change the experience for their customers. And it couldn't have happened without the business processes being examined, the data being collected from the RPA and the batch processing to be able to support this activity, identify the opportunities, and provide the data to allow the measurement of improvement. And those are the process management systems, because these are looking for re-engineering opportunities, different ways of putting the activities together in order to achieve the same outcome at either a higher quality, faster speed, lower cost, some improvement that makes a difference. Higher customer satisfaction. What would you be willing to pay for not having to worry? What is it worth to you as a customer? And they're very high impact areas. So these process management systems need to be informed. And part of our data collection in our existing applications can provide this information. Artificial intelligence also needs this information to provide the data and observe as data collection. So an artificial intelligence project needs to be trained. It needs to have enough observations of human behavior, particularly the Pareto principle data. Now, by Pareto principle data, I mean 80% of your data exercises 20% of the activities in your process. When we have something that works, we have a standard process, it is used 80% of the time. And there's about 20% minor variance that happens in there. Well, what do we do with the other 20% of the time? That's when the occurrences of the other 80% of our behavior occur. This is characteristic of our preconceived testing, our happiness with testing what we know works, not necessarily testing what we are uncertain of or what we believe could break the system. Things that shouldn't happen but could. So our artificial intelligence projects, our artificial intelligence contributions to robotics process automation to make it intelligent process automation, rely on these observations we have collected, that we have documented, of how we humans resolve the unexpected system behavior. So collecting that information, identifying what was unexpected, and providing the information so that a correct response can be provided. That is absolutely necessary for artificial intelligence. They also need to be able then to handle that non-standard case. Those 20% of activities that cover 80% of the variations. And how are those handled? Being able to detect it is half of the problem. Being able to be instructed on how to handle it, or a pattern to follow that leads to resolution for the non-standard case. This type of artificial intelligence design, the capacity, the capability, help to enrich all of our structured solutions. Be able to prepare these structured solutions to handle the unexpected. Be able to have our voice command recognition or our robotics process automation bots handle unexpected inputs, to handle misspellings, unexpected data that comes in. Be able to differentiate or correct misspellings. Be able to do the translation type activities. Most of the translators right now rely on a more literal substitution of text value for text value, word for word. The translators are not good at recognizing idioms. So if you have an idiom like up the creek without a paddle, and you need to represent that in a different language, it's a huge challenge for a robotic translator to do that. It's a huge challenge for a human translator to do that, but they may have been made aware of the idioms. So you could say up the creek without a paddle, and it would come across in an equivalent representation in another language, but not a literal translation in another language. So this is where we are aiming, being able to provide that flexibility because of what we've learned through building artificial intelligence applications and systems. Now, if you look at their analysis of robotics process automation tools, studios, all of the offerings that are there, and it's an interesting read. No, it won't be on your exam. None of the current suite of robotics process automation tools offer learning. In other words, data collection, pattern learning. Can the tool itself evolve into detecting the conditions to go through path A or path B or path C, to use the switch or the case statements and build that switch or case statement dynamically rather than have a programmer find the requirement and provide that requirement in a structured statement or a flowchart. So this is the next big opportunity identified for robotics process automation. How can we start incorporating artificial intelligence to view the processes that occur, to be able to evolve the conditions based on data of the process execution?